Okay, Ji, I'll be doing the first question, and this is the question I'll be doing. Analyze using a demand and supply diagram the effect of a report stating that eating tomatoes is good for health will have on the market for tomatoes. So demand and supply diagram बना रहे हैं. Let's format the diagram first. This is the demand and supply diagram. X axis के ऊपर quantity आएगी, Y axis के ऊपर price आएगी. And let's log. The demand curve is going to be D naught. The supply curve is going to be S naught. The equilibrium is going to be E naught. And ये E naught का 0. E naught का मतलब होता है original equilibrium. तो P naught and Q naught यानी कि मार्केट अभी यहाँ है और जो एक्शन का क्वेश्चन पेपर बता रहा है वो अभी तक हमने नहीं किया है. दिस इज बिफोर. So now the effect of a report. अब report छप गई है stating that eating tomatoes is good for health will have on the market for demand. So what's going to happen? क्या है? एक report छपी है that eating tomatoes is good for health. So what is that going to affect? The demand or supply? First of all, you have to understand whether the demand is going to be affected or supply is going to be affected. So for the question number 1, eating tomatoes, a report saying that tomatoes are good for health, What is this going to affect? This is going to create demand. This is going to create more publicity, more demand. So demand is going to increase. Is there any other factor which says that supply is going to increase or decrease? No. So this question only is of a single shift question. So if demand will increase कर दें आप आंखें बंद करके. So if demand is increasing, D naught, D1, demand is increasing. And what's going to happen? The quantity is going to increase from Q0 to Q1. Please do not forget your arrows. And price is going to increase from P0 to P1. So if the report which is presented in the market which says that tomatoes are good, this is going to increase the preference for tomatoes. Increase preference. This is how you're going to write in the paper. Increase preference for tomatoes, which means increase in demand by consumers. In demand, supply will have an extension. Price will rise. And quantity is going to increase in the market. This is how you're going to write. Not in points, but in full paragraph form. And this is the diagram which you're going to explain. So have you drawn the axes? Yes, you have drawn the axes. Axes. Yes, check. Have you drawn the original equilibrium? Original equilibrium, which means original demand, original supply, and the original equilibrium. Have I labeled it? Yes. Have I showed the correct movement or shift? Yes. Have I showed the new equilibrium and the new changes in demand and supply? Yes. These are the 4 key ingredients of any demand and supply diagram. Right? I move on to the next question now. And I'm going to rub this, or better still, delete it. What is the second question? So now we are moving towards the second question. And the second question says, analyze using a demand and supply diagram how a fall in price of cotton would affect the market for cotton share. So here we go. We draw the x-axis, which is quantity. We draw the y-axis, which is price. Let's make the equilibrium first. आंखें बंद करके डी नॉट डिमांड कर्व खींच दें नीचे की तरफ, ओरिजिन से ऊपर की तरफ सप्लाई कर्व खींच दें एस नॉट. So now what you have is this equilibrium E naught, and this is the original equilibrium before the action has taken place, and this is the price P naught. You should use a scale. Do not draw a diagram without a scale or a ruler. How a fall in the price of cotton would affect the market for cotton shirts. What diagram do I have to make? I have to make a diagram of cotton shirts. So this is of cotton shirts. Now the price of cotton is decreasing. Price of cotton is decreasing, which means cotton is a raw material for cotton shirts. Now the raw material price is decreasing, which means it becomes cheaper to produce cotton shirts, or it may become more profitable if you are selling at the same price, which means profit on cotton shirt, profit on cotton shirt, raw material price में raw material cost कर देते हैं, profit on cotton shirt is going to increase, profit increases on cotton shirt. और जिस चीज का profit बढ़ता है, whatever the profit increases of, the supply is also going to increase. So demand is going to remain the same. Now we know that the supply is going to increase. We will draw an increase in the supply curve. And this is how you're going to draw an increase in the supply curve from S0 to S1. Draw the two arrows. Now draw the new equilibrium. The new equilibrium is where S1 and D0 intersect. And this is how you are going to show Q0, Q1, and P0 to P1 will fall, Q0 to Q1 will increase. This is how you're going to show the diagram. I'm happy with the diagram. I think I've labeled what I need to label. And I'll show that the prices will fall, the quantity will increase in the market, the supply will increase, and there is going to be an extension in demand. There's going to be an extension in demand. और इसकी reason क्या है, मैंने reason इसके ऊपर mention कर दी है. So this is the second question of the past papers. I'm covering 2020, 21, 19, and 20 and 22 for these questions. So this brings us to the end of question number 2. I'm going to question number 3, and I'm going to get rid of this first. Do. And let's do question number 3, and let's highlight this. Analyze using a demand and supply diagram the effect of an increase in the demand of cars for the market for tires. Now, what you're going to look at, you're going to look at the demand and supply of tires. And what is the action point? इसमें क्या चीज change हो रही है? Demand for cars is changing. So we have to first identify the relationship which exists with the question. You draw the two axes. The x-axis will be the quantity, the y-axis will be the price, and you're going to first draw the demand curve, which is downward sloping. आंखें बंद करके नीचे की तरफ D naught, और from the origin नीचे से ऊपर की तरफ supply curve S naught, और जहाँ पे ये intersect करेंगे would be the original equilibrium E naught. ये E naught बन गया. आप अपना डायग्राम इसी तरीके से इसी स्टेप्स में बनाएंगे. पहले आप एक्सेस बनाएंगे, फिर डिमांड कर्व बनाएंगे, फिर सप्लाई कर्व बनाएंगे, फिर उनका इंटरसेक्शन बनाएंगे, फिर नया और फिर पुराना इक्विलिब्रियम और पुरानी क्वांटिटी पुराना प्राइस बनाएंगे. दैट इज हाउ यू गोइंग टू डू इट. नाउ once you have done, we have to understand what is happening in the question. The demand for cars is increasing. So demand for cars is increasing. What will that have the effect on the market for tires? This is the market and supply for tire, the demand and supply for tires. What's going to happen on that? If the demand for cars increases, then the demand for tires also increase. Why? Because cars and tires are complementary goods. They have a joint demand. They have a joint demand. The more cars are produced or the cars are bought, the demand for tires is also going to increase. So, if what is going to happen? If the demand for cars is going to increase, if demand for cars is going to increase, that means that the demand for tires is also going to increase. Now, the demand for cars is going to increase, tires is going to increase, will show a demand curve will increase towards the right, and this is how the quantity is also going to increase and price is going to increase in the market. So price increases, quantity increases, supply will have an extension and the demand is increasing. So this is how you're going to explain this. And once you've done that, let's move to question number 4. And question number 4 is a relatively simple question. We have done this before. Analyze using a demand and supply diagram how bad weather is likely to affect the market for broccoli. So first of all, you're going to draw a y-axis, which is price, and x-axis, which is the quantity or demand curve, is going to be downward sloping. The D naughts will be the wrong color. Let's stick to the colors which we have. This is the demand curve, and the S curve, supply curve, is going to be upward sloping, S naught. And this is how P naught, Q naught, E naught, using a demand and supply diagram, how bad weather is likely to affect bad weather is going to spoil the harvest, and it is going to affect the supply. The supply is going to fall. Supply curve पीछे आ जाएगा, यहाँ पे डिमांड की कोई बात नहीं आएगी. Supply curve is going to shift back. S naught to S1, and the equilibrium will shift backwards. The quantity is going to be decrease from Q naught to Q1, and the price is going to increase from P naught to P1. So supply falls, what's going to happen? That the price is going to increase, quantity is going to decrease, demand is going to have a contraction, and supply is going to have a shift backwards. Supply decreases. This is how you're going to write the answer to this. This is the answer. Moving to question number 5. Analyze using a demand supply diagram how rising incomes may affect the market for gold. The more money you have, the more luxury items you can buy. Gold is a luxury item, it is not a necessity. So the more money you have, the more incomes you have, the more demand for gold is going to increase. D naught is the demand curve, S naught is the supply curve, original. Where are they intersecting? They're intersecting on E naught. Here are E naught. आप ये गोल बना के ये लिखेंगे ओरिजिनल इक्विलिब्रियम, और ये लिखेंगे आप इसकी ओरिजिनल क्वांटिटी क्यू नॉट इन द ओरिजिनल प्राइस P naught. Now, what you have to find out? You have to find out a rise in income is going to make demand for gold also increases. Why does the demand for gold increase? Demand for gold क्यों increase होता है? डिमांड फॉर गोल्ड क्यों इंक्रीज होता है? डिमांड फॉर गोल्ड इसलिए इंक्रीज होगा बिकॉज it's a luxury good. The more income you have, luxury or a normal good, the more income you have, the more gold will people buy. So the demand for gold is going to increase. How will that look? That would look like this. Demand curve में D naught is equal to N D1. So now where is the equilibrium? E1 price is going to increase. P naught say P1 and the quantity is going to increase also from Q naught to Q1. So price increases, quantity also increases, supply will have extension and demand will also increase. That is the end of the question, as simple as that. Now let's go to draw a diagram to show how rise in the price of car parking could affect the market for cars in the Philippines. This is a 4-mark question. So draw a demand and supply diagram to show how a rise in the price of car parking could affect the market for cars in the Philippines. Demand curve is D naught, supply curve is S naught, and this is P naught. This is P naught, this is Q naught. Now what's going to happen? The demand show a rise in the price of car parking would mean the demand for cars would fall. When the demand for cars would fall, the demand for um, car parking, which means the demand for car prices, parking prices or parking ticket will fall. When the demand for parking ticket will fall, the demand for cars will fall also, since they are joint demand. If you demand something, the other thing will happen together. So and since they are not supplied together, it does not affect supply. Parking ticket is going to reduce, or car parking is going to reduce the demand. So the quantity is going to reduce from Q naught to Q1, price is going to reduce from P naught to P1, and the supply will have a contraction. So the price of car parking, if it increases, keeping cars, the usage of cars become more costly, which means demand for cars increases. When demand for cars decreases, and when the demand for cars decreases, what's going to happen? Price is going to fall, quantity is going to decrease, supply is going to have a contraction, and demand is going to decrease. So this was D1. This is how you're going to draw it. What is the next question? So the next question is using analyze using a demand supply diagram how subsidy given to producers could affect the market for electric cars. This is an interesting question. Now, let's draw the first y-axis, which is going to be price, and the x-axis, which is going to be quantity. Now, what is going to be the demand curve? Demand curve is going to be downward sloping from D naught. And what is going to be, this is supply curve is going to be upward sloping from S naught. So you are going to make E naught, and this is going to be Q naught quantity, and this is going to be E naught. And now what you're going to do is you're going to look at how subsidy. So what is the subsidy going to do? Subsidy is given by the government to a producer, which means producer is going to get it. So it's going to affect supply, and how what is going to happen is that the cost to the firm will fall, which means profitability for the firm is going to increase, which may lead to more demand for electric cars. So that is going to look that when you apply a subsidy, what is going to happen? The supply for the cars is going to increase. And sorry, it's not going to be the demand for the cars, but the supply for electric cars is going to increase. When the supply of electric cars will increase, let's see what will happen. S naught to S1. Okay, so you can see that the price is falling after a subsidy, and technically तो subsidy से supply कर्व नीचे जाता है, मगर हम उसकी बात नहीं कर रहे. Quantity is going to increase, there is going to be an extension in demand, and the supply curve is going to shoot forward, prices will fall, quantity supplied is going to increase, price or so supply is going to increase, and there's going to be an extension in demand. Okay, so and the demand, sorry, so supply is an extension in demand, and supply is going to increase because of subsidies. And what is the subsidy per unit? So it is always the parallel distance between the two supply curves. Is this is E1 and this is E1 dash. So the distance between E1 and E1 dash is the subsidy per unit. This is how you're going to draw this question. Moving to the second last question, penultimate question. Using a demand and supply diagram, how an increase in income will affect the market for a luxury brand in perfume. We're going to draw x-axis for quantity, y-axis for price. You're going to a downward sloping demand curve. This is the D naught demand curve. Then an upward sloping supply curve, and this is the supply curve. And this is going to be E naught. And this is going to be quantity. And you can see that this is the quantity, this is the price. Now, क्या होगा using a demand supply diagram, how increase in income? If incomes are increasing, what is going to happen? The demand for luxury brand of perfume luxury brand of perfume की जो demand है, that is going to increase also because perfume is a luxury good. The more money people will have, they're going to buy better branded items. So what is going to happen is that an increase in income will mean that people will have more disposable income. The demand for luxury goods is going to increase. And this is how D naught, D1, E1, Q naught, Q1, right? So the demand is increasing, the supply will have an extension, and this is how you're going to draw the diagram. The effect, and the last question, the effect on the market for furniture of an increase in the price of wood. The price of wood is the raw material. If the raw material prices increase, the cost will increase, the profit will fall, and the supply for wood furniture is going to fall as well. That is going to be the diagram for this question. I have done question number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've done 8 questions, and I've discussed the ninth one. I hope this was clear for you. Thank you. This is all from my side.